After a month of anticipation, a month of excitement, we are finally here. It's time for our SummerSlam predictions. So excited that my voice almost cracked. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 21 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Tabuada. And yes, we've had a countdown graphic up. We talked about it for weeks and weeks, and finally we are here, the SummerSlam prediction show. And I am so excited. I am wearing my SummerSlam jersey from last year's here in Toronto. You know, it has the Canadian flag on it. It says Toronto in the back. Whatever it is, I am excited. So this is something I've been waiting for. I love the Big Four pay-per-views, and here we are now, finally ready to predict in an interesting build-up nonetheless. Lots of stuff happening today. One of the two bigger things of notice, we were supposed to have a six-man group. We were supposed to have a six-man group, but unfortunately, two of our members couldn't make it. One of them was the debuting Michael Keys. I know he was looking forward to it, and buddy, it sucks that there's technical difficulties. Believe me, you know I would have loved to have you here. But however, we did get his predictions in, so he has a chance at the Under the Middle Rope Championship. And weirdly enough, our defending champion, Andrew Wolf Woltman, also wasn't able to pop up. And we do have a video from Wolf himself explaining all of his picks and explaining his reasoning why he's not there. So we're going to open up with that, with Wolf and Keys submitting their picks. Unfortunately, Keys couldn't get a video in on time, so we only have Wolf. Of course, RJ Stacy, Pete Atkinson, they're back, and a debuting Zachary Kirchner. You know, it's somebody who's wanted to be on the podcast. He makes his debut here Under the Middle Rope to predict with us. It's a very, very exciting show. I'm ready to go. All of us are ready to go. So the only thing to say really is just sit back, relax, and enjoy our SummerSlam predictions. Hey everybody, welcome to the discussion. A lot of build-up, a lot of anticipation for this, so we're going to get right to it. As you can see, as I said in the introduction, Wolf is not with us today, so we will. You'll hear him in a second. One of our newer guests, Michael Keys, is not here with us as well, but he will also be giving his predictions on the side, which I'll announce, I believe, at the end of the video, or if not, in a few minutes. In the meantime, RJ Stacy, he's back. Pete Atkinson, he's back. And introducing for the first time on the podcast, Mr. Zachary Kirchner, all the way from Alaska. Hi, buddy.
Hello.
Alaska.
How are you doing?
Wow.
How you guys doing?
Well, we're hanging in there, having fun. So it is SummerSlam predictions, as I said, for the millionth time. Again, a long time waiting for this. The card has surprisingly shaped up pretty well. Now, before we do anything, like I said, Wolf isn't with us today. So what we're all going to be doing for the next 6 minutes is listen to his predictions. He has messages for all of us. He has put some thought into this, and you guys are all ready to see what he says?
Let's do it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just, I guess, sit back and enjoy this one. Here we go.
Hello, Under the Middle Ropers. It's me, Andrew the Wolf Waltman. Now, I'm back to work, which means I'm on the road, which means I'm not able to record the podcast with the guys these days. But as the defending champion, it's my duty to at least give my predictions and to roast everyone that's currently on the podcast. Hi, Jose. You still trying to stir up stuff between me and RJ? I believe it. Also, I believe Michael Keys is there. I don't know when exactly it is, but happy birthday, buddy. I know that's coming up soon. Forgive me, I've been getting kind of back into the working world, so I haven't been paying too much attention to WWE lately, so I will be looking at Wikipedia to see the match card. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. I'm not a liar. Anyway. Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Well, you know, the Profits have held it for a while. Andrade and Garza, they need kind of that boost. I feel like they need the titles more than the Street Profits do. I just don't really know what the whole poisoning thing is about. I'm sure this is going to lead to a 6-on-6, 3-on-3 match between Bianca and Zelina. Excuse me. Hey, it's a good thing. You know, it's nighttime. I can open up Frosty Boy while I'm doing these. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. Hair versus hair. I'm sorry, is that a hair versus hair match? Why? Well, this story's been going on for quite a while. I believe right before Mania is when they broke up. They need to give a babyface win, so I'm going to go with Mandy. Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what the hell's going on there. I mean, I know there's some sort of double turn going on, and I don't hate it. I guess I don't like Braun Strowman, but I think their intention is for me not to like Braun Strowman. But I'm not going to make any ridiculous bets this time. Pete, I know you're wetting your whistle right now thinking of me betting something crazy, but I feel like it's The Fiend's time, you know? And hey, we can get behind him as a babyface. I like it. It's an interesting story. It's not something I saw them doing with The Fiend, but not one I'm totally against. What's next? Sasha Banks versus Asuka and Bayley versus Asuka. There's so many other people. We could give a chance to. I know one of them's losing the title. For the life of me, I don't know which one. So I'm going to flip a coin, but here's my thought process. One of them loses the title this week. I don't know which one. That's what the coin's for. The other one retains, and then next week is, I want to say Payback or Backlash. I don't know. They all sound the same. And they have to defend the women's tag team titles against somebody. We don't know who, but they're going to lose then. And that's when we do the turn finally for, I believe, Bayley on Sasha. Sasha needs to be the face. But again, I don't know who's losing their title. Heads, it's Bayley. Tails, Sasha loses her title. Okay. So Sasha is losing to Asuka, and Bayley is going to retain. Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. I've made way too many Eddie Guerrero jokes to keep going on this. You know, I could see two things happening. I could see them giving Dominic the strong win for his first match, but I could also see him coming up just short and not beating Rollins. And I don't want to flip the coin again. That just seems lazy. But I will say that Dominic gets a nice victory. It might be by a roll-up, which isn't exactly what you want to see in a street fight, but whatever. Apollo Crews versus MVP. I'm going to go with MVP for the reasons that I said last pay-per-view. I mean, the match never happened. Apollo retained on Raw. I feel like MVP is that guy that you need to put some steam behind if you're going to use him to build up guys down the road. So, yeah, MVP. Ooh. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Wow. A world where I actually see Randy Orton winning, which is my pick, and I'm not upset about it because he's been putting in some of the best work of his career lately. I'm not even mad. What do we got? Okay. Yeah, I think Randy's going to win. I don't know if that means that Drew's going to fade away. I feel like they could keep going. I want Drew to get it back in front of a crowd, but I feel like Randy Orton is the kind of guy that could do wonders with that championship right now. He's definitely doing the work to justify it and not have it be, oh, let's just give Cena number 17. So I believe the tiebreaker is the WWE Championship match. So Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I am going to say 24-30. Well, those are my picks. I hope you enjoyed watching Raw in the background on mute while I made them and probably ignored them. Anyway, I kept this as trim as I could. Pete, I'm going to win this championship. I'm going to keep it. Hope you know that. Cheers, boys.
Well, you heard it. Any thoughts to Wolf's predictions, RJ?
I like the idea of the beer on the drinking the beer the whole time. It was very classy.
Pete? Oh, sorry. Go on, RJ. Go on.
Oh, sorry. As for his predictions, well, I mean, I don't really want to spoil too much because we still got to do the predictions ourselves. But I do agree with some of them. I do not agree with all of them. But we'll get into that. Pete, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was definitely something. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was definitely something. I will like to say that I don't know whether I agree or not with his predictions yet. So we'll find out later.
And Kirsch, your thoughts? I know you're new to this, but your thoughts on Wolves?
Well, that's classic Wolf for you. Even in the group chat, that's how he is. I do agree. I do agree that with his thoughts that Randy is like in having one of the best runs he's had in possibly a long time. I don't know if it's gonna mean a title shot. I'm on a tiebreaker on that one myself.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit. Now, before we go out to everybody, because again, this is such a big show. Michael Keys has sent me his picks as well, so listen closely because this is interesting. So for those that are watching on YouTube, here's the graphic. He picked Mandy for the hair versus hair, Angel and Andrade to win the Raw tag, MVP for the US, Sasha to keep her Raw Women's title, Bayley to keep her SmackDown title, Dominic to win the Street Fight, The Fiend to win the Universal title, Drew to win the WWE title, and 18 minutes and 30 seconds for the tiebreaker. So right now, his difference is the Raw Women's Championship and the WWE Championship, as everything else stays on par. So we already have our first difference. Obviously, the tiebreaker is the tiebreaker. That being said, I do not want to waste any more time. Let's start this because there is a lot to go through, a lot to process, and we are starting with the hair versus hair match, Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville, a rivalry that has been going on for probably since I believe WrestleMania when Sonya turned on Mandy about the Otis situation and all that jazz, and for all of us single men, we still feel our pain with Otis, who got the girl that lucky guy. And now here we are as a rivalry continued to brew. Mandy got her haircut, which, she still looks great with the short hair, or as she's now calling herself, the world's greatest soccer mom, which is interesting enough, I guess. And now it's led to a hair versus hair match. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong. I should have fact checked this, but this is the first women's hair versus hair match since WrestleMania 20 between Molly Holly and Victoria for the women's championship. If there was one sooner, I clearly suck at history. RJ, let's start with you, then we'll circle around. Here we go.
So if this was a regular match, I kind of feel like I would be leaning more towards Sonya potentially in this rivalry. But due to the stipulation, I really don't see them cutting Mandy's hair any more than they already have. So I think that kind of makes it an easy pick for me, where I think Mandy's going to take this feud. Or if it ends right here, this is where she's gonna take this match here. I think that's just kind of like the natural progression in this, where Sonya, she loses, gets her haircut, Mandy keeps her hair, and hopefully move on to the feud because as it started off fine. I think it kind of lulled in the middle because they weren't really on the show for a really long time. I don't know if they were part of that like COVID situation or whatever, but they weren't on the show for a while, and then they picked it kind of right back up here. So I think we should finish it with a Mandy victory if we're doing the hair versus hair stipulation.
Pete.
Yeah, I'm going to just say something quite fun here. I don't know what any of my predictions tonight are going to be yet. I've decided that my competition isn't very good, so if I'm going to be the first three-time champion, I'm going to do it all by pure luck. So I am going to be taking this coin, which is a poker chip from the World Series of Poker.
Oh, nice.
$500 poker chip, probably.
Oh, really?
It's my lucky coin. I am going to be flipping it on every single result, and I'm going to be going with that result. And I'm going to be justifying it and defending it. So I am going to just see how I do. And I just want to see how embarrassed these guys are if they lose to a coin. That is my ultimate thing. So I'm going to go with the 500 being Mandy, the poker side being Sonya, and it is Mandy Rose. You can see that as a 500. So I'm going to go with Mandy Rose. That's the only. Actually, I am quite glad about that one. That was the only one I was fairly confident in. So, yeah, this storyline. I'm quite glad about this storyline. I know it's hair versus hair, is a bit cheesy as it is, but I'm glad they're giving Mandy and Sonya a bit of the spotlight rather than just Otis's side story in a way. So I'm glad they get a bit at the forefront. I think Sonya has been fantastic. Like recently on the mic, I think her mic skills have really shone, and I think everyone really in the Otis storyline, and except for Tucker, but who cares about Tucker? I think everyone has been elevated over the last few months. And to be honest, I think Sonya could look pretty badass with short hair as well. Just visualizing that, I think she could come out with a really good new look, and she is a legit fighter as well, and I think could give her that badass look, and hopefully maybe a push for her afterwards. But the coin's going with Mandy, we're going with Mandy, so that's where I am at.
I guess that's what it all comes down to. Like, who would look good with essentially here? I mean, I think both would, but I mean, it's not too big of a factor on my prediction, as I'm going to say. Then again, it's not a coin. Kirsch.
I agree with Pete with like the rivalry like should end here, and I also like agree that Sonya has been like absolutely killer on the mic as of late. Like she's honestly like I'm actually genuinely impressed. But that being said, I'm also going with Mandy because I feel like this is the way to end the story. And I think like with all the crap Mandy has taken recently and Sonya just trying to screw her life, I think this is the right way to get like her comeuppance and just end the story right there and allow both of them to move on. Because for a future prediction, I could see I could see Sonya switching brands and maybe going after another title. Like I think it'd be better to get them off of the same brand, so that way you don't have them fighting again. So but back on this, I'm saying Mandy's going to win this one.
That's a good point. I mean, I don't know if we're due for a shakeup soon. I know at
Yeah.
one point we're going to be. I know at one point we're going to start talking about the brand supremacy with Survivor Series, whatever. We'll get there when we'll get there.
Just to pick you up on the point there, I think one of the rumors I saw is that they were planning to do another draft, as in like a full draft at some point soon. I've seen that rumor floating around. So rather than just a little shake-up, doing a full recast completely.
Rules
Yeah,
kind of seem to be out the window right now too. They're kind of getting everybody on every show right now. I mean, Bailey and Sasha, I know they're the tag team champions, but they're kind of on every show right now. So I mean, I feel like they're kind of just all in out the window right now. Where it wouldn't surprise me if they're just like, oh, you know, Sonya got traded to Raw for a player to be named later.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to see that since the revamp of the brand split started in 2016, it was strong for a little while and then just completely like went down the drain. And I hope they stick to it this time. But again, we said that I think twice already in the last year alone. I'm very quick because we do got to move on. Mandy, I'm gonna stay clear with everybody here. That was gonna be my pick anyways, not because everybody else picked Mandy, but it's Mandy. She deserves her, and I guess her revenge. And at the same time, her boyfriend still has a Money in the Bank briefcase lingering around. So it'd be nice if she continues to stay strong and accompany him whenever he decides, if he decides to cash and if he wins the title. So we are going to move on. The Raw Tag Team Championship, the Street Profits, and taking on Angel Garza and Andrade. This storyline has been resonating for a while, with the Profits being rivals with Andrade and Angel. And now we have this whole poisoning situation, as Wolf said in the video, how Zelina's poisoning Montez. I don't know why, but here we are. I'm going to start off by saying Profits because this whole thing has just completely gone off the rails. They're still great. They're still really solid, entertaining, solid charisma, all that jazz. I'm sticking with the Profits because as much as I love Angel and Andrade, I don't see it, but I feel like this is one that I am going to regret. Kirsch.
The thing is, like, I'm going to say this. I'm surprised how long the Street Profits have held the Raw tag titles for. Because before that, the Raw tag titles have barely even lasted, like, if even 2 months. Because, like, Seth and Murphy barely held it for a month. Viking Raiders. Oh, God. Rollins and Strowman. Ziggler and Rude.
Wow, I forgot about Strowman and Rollins.
I know, right?
Seth and 8 other different people.
Yeah.
Seth and RJ,
Jordan.
Seth and Wolf, Seth and RJ,
Seth and Nicholas.
Kirsch, continue.
But yeah, so it's like I'm surprised the Street Profits have held the titles as long as they currently have. Like it's been like what, almost like has it been like 6 months or more than that now?
No, maybe.
I know they won it in February, so
That's 6 months. Yeah. That's 6 months, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah, damn.
So I think it's finally the thing is, I don't see any other potential candidates to challenge for the titles. Like, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any heel teams on Raw except for like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I don't think they're I don't think they're like I don't think they should go after the tag titles because like Bobby's world championship material, Shelton's US title material, or like mid card title. But so I'm gonna say Andrade and Angel because I don't see anything else left for the Street Profits. This will give more teams to like step up and start new feuds, and possibly let the Street Profits go over to SmackDown where they can probably have some good matches with other teams on there. I would love to see Usos versus Street Profits. Damn, that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty good. Pete.
Let's say 500 is Street Profits. This is Andrade. It is. You couldn't see that. It was this. We are going with Andrade and Garza, apparently. Not sure why. We are apparently going with Andrade and Garza. They definitely deserve those titles. They're both very incredible competitors. As you know, in Ring Point, honestly, I feel like I would love either of them to go into bigger or better things than the Raw Tag titles. But it's just I like Kirsch's point, actually. There is a lot more faces, I guess, in that undercard on Raw. So you got your Ricochet and Ali, etc. You got your Viking Raiders who can go on to feud with. That's assuming Eric's not busy trying to knee people in the head in some backstage dirty room. But fuck underground.
It's a backstage dirty room.
That's basically what it is. It looks like like those like pop-up shed type things. That's what that is.
Well, here's hoping that the Thunderdome gives them a brand new arena for this because I just well, we'll talk about that in a minute because I really prefer to talk about the new location.
Taking place in the toilets of the Armware Center. It's fine. Yeah, so we're going with Andrade and Garza. And to put another point of Kirsch, Seth Rollins has been is a 6-time Raw Tag Team Champion, which is with 5 different competitors. So he just seems to love those belts. So maybe he's going to go back into that title scene as well and face them as well. So why not? But yeah, Coin says Andrade Garza. I'm saying Andrade Garza.
Oh boy, RJ.
So I think I wanted Andrade and Garza to win this just because I really like the two of them. I'm not sure I really wanted them to tag together in the first place. I really wanted to see one of them kind of turn on the other because I do think they, like Pete said, have bigger and better things in front of them than just the tag team titles. But I actually do think because of the storyline that's going on right now with the poisoning and all that, whatever the heck that is, I do think that I'm going to go with the Profits on this one. I do think that the tension between Garza and Andrade is going to happen sooner rather than later. I don't think they're going to win the belts, and I think that they're going to potentially break up. And as much as, like Kirsch said, there's not that many challengers maybe for face teams, but I'm going to still go with the Profits anyway.
Well, it is just RJ and I for the Profits, as everybody else, and the power of the coin has picked Angel Garza and Andrade. So either RJ and I are going to be feeling pretty damn good after this match, or we have just completely just thrown this out the window and my Big Four streak of becoming the podcast champion is over, as if there was a streak to begin with.
We won't know for a while though, because that's clearly the main event.
Oh, that's right, the main event. Okay, no, I don't feel as
so it'll be a while before we find out that result. That one's definitely going on last. It's definitely
that's going to be entertaining. The United States Championship, Apollo versus MVP. Apollo became the undisputed MVP, the undisputed United States champion. MVP once again regained an opportunity. They've been going back and forth. I'm going to start off again, and I'm just simply going to say Apollo. I think because Apollo is actually pretty good. Although I feel like this is the one I'm going to regret too. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with my gut because the one thing I've been doing on this when it comes to predictions is not following my gut. But I am going to pick Apollo. I know I'm already down with Keys and Wolf picking MVP, but I just think that Apollo is just going to retain and continue his wonderful United States run. RJ.
I don't think MVP is going to win this match either. I'm going to go with Apollo too. I do kind of agree with what Wolf said in his opening video package, his promo package, whatever we're going to call that there, in his promo package. I do like that, he said, he's like, if we're going to keep, MVP building people up, let's keep them kind of relevant. But I do think that maybe he doesn't need the belt for that. But I do think Apollo is going to keep his reign going. I could see MVP losing this match and then see Apollo move on to maybe facing Lashley or maybe facing a turning Cedric Alexander that they kind of been teasing the last couple weeks. So I do think that he can continue feuding with the Hurt Business, but it might not necessarily be MVP. So I'm going to go with Apollo.
Kirsch.
So like Apollo has been rather impressive. Like I was not expecting him to win the US title, but like I'm surprised it's gone on for so long, and he's actually improved quite a bit. I do think it's close to time for him to lose the title though, but I'm gonna go with Apollo on this actually. Because I think he's gonna lose it in the future to Shelton. Because I just don't see him losing it to MVP. Like before Shelton, I could see Shelton and Apollo losing the title to MVP, but now that they got Shelton, it's like I think MVP should go to like the manager's position and every once in a while come in for like a 3-man tag, or if like one of them is injured, then come in for a tag team. But I think Apollo's gonna win so he can drop it to maybe Shelton later or something. So I'm going with Apollo.
And back to Pete for this prediction.
I am. Let's see, 500 for Apollo. We are going with Apollo. As you can see that's 500. So we are going for Apollo. I think logically that definitely makes the most sense. Not sure. I guess I can go with my prediction last time. I went with Apollo last time. If someone's going to take that US title off him, it's probably Lashley, not MVP. So why the hell not? We're going with Apollo. Apollo deserves the win. Apollo's the best champ. Let's go.
All right. So moving forward, because again, if there was, I think one area that I think a lot of us are going to be going insane with, it's this. Even Keys, who's supposed to be here today, messaged me. He's like, "Well, the prediction just got a lot harder," and I absolutely agree. So we're gonna start off with the first one. It is for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks, the current champion, taking on Asuka, the woman who she beat for the Raw Women's Championship, and now here we are because again, obviously, we're going to talk about the SmackDown match, which is of course Bayley and Asuka. So we are in this really weird situation where, I mean, I'm assuming somebody's going to say it, and I'm going to be the first one to say that there couldn't be anybody else but Asuka. I love Asuka, but it's like, really, we're going to just put her in both situations. And frankly, I'd be surprised if anybody predicts Asuka for both. We already have one prediction for Asuka for the Raw, which is Wolf. I mean, again, the last time I assumed something, it was the casino ladder match for, Double or Nothing, and everybody proved me wrong, and then I went with it. So who knows at this rate? So I'm gonna start again. I'm going to, for the Raw Women's, this one I think Sasha retains. I think Sasha retains because it's a new reign with her, and kind of like what I said at the last pay-per-view, that I do not want to see just another quick, short Sasha reign. It's sickening. It's annoying. She deserves to hold it for at least 24 hours. So I'm being sarcastic there. So I'm gonna go with Sasha. That's my first pick. RJ.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with this one too. The Asuka winning the Battle Royal really made this one difficult. I like it though, actually. I think it makes it very intriguing. I think it's possible that she wins both. I think it's man, I am really struggling with this one because I do think that whoever is the Raw champion is probably going to move on to Shayna Baszler. So it's who seems to be face right now. So I think whoever the Raw champion is might be a heel, which makes me lean Sasha retains. But going into the whole thing, oh no, I'm not taking Sasha. Hold on, get there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. However, I'm starting to think that the whole time I thought that Bayley was going to be the one that retained. So I think they announced on Raw last night that the Bayley match is going to go first, right?
Is that the case?
I think in the Bailey promo she said, "I'll go first, so you can pick up the pieces."
Okay.
So I do think that is the case. So, but I also think that means that Bailey is going to win. So I think that Bailey is going to win and Sasha is going to lose and not be able to pick up the pieces. And I'm going to say Asuka for this one.
Okay. Pete.
500 for Bailey. Wait, it's Sasha. 500 for Sasha. Poker for Asuka.
Yeah, we're doing Raw right now. Sorry, I think I just mixed everybody up.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that. I just want to be clear before you announce it that we have the same competitor in 2 different matches for 2 different titles, and you're going to rely on a coin?
Of course I am.
Okay.
Like I said, it was 500 was for Sasha. We have got a poker chip, so I am going for Asuka. Obviously, like I like RJ's logic. If Bailey comes in first, then yeah, she wins. Sasha loses. That makes sense. Sasha has got a terrible record of defending that Raw Women's title. She always loses it. So why the hell not Asuka? I probably would have gone for Sasha here, but we're going with Asuka. So we are going with Asuka. I trust in the coin. The coin has never let me down before.
The first time you're using it.
Exactly.
I hope you won it. I hope you won it in like a poker tournament or something, and you just like it just means a lot to you.
One of my friends went to Vegas and he kept this for me and he gave me it when he came back.
That's nice.
So that's why I have that.
Is that an authentic poker chip?
Like he played in the World Series
from the Rio in Vegas.
So you're telling me that he actually could have cashed in $500, but decided to give the chip to you?
It's not worth $500.
Oh, it's not worth. Okay, never mind then. All right.
It's 500 chips.
It's like $500 chip.
Yeah.
God. Power of the coin.
So yeah, we're going with Asuka. As Jose said, this is absolutely stupid that she's facing for both. Like even in that battle royal alone, you looked at the final. Like you could have had Shayna Baszler win it. You could have had Tegan Nox win it. Like Tegan Nox would have been great exposure to give Tegan Nox a match against Bailey. In that, why are we having Asuka, who's a Raw competitor, fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship, the actual Raw Women's Championship held by someone from SmackDown? I really dislike the need for that. So actually, yeah, I hope Asuka beats Sasha, and he is hoping to actually get Bailey with my next flip, but we're going to find out.
And Kirsch.
So when I learned that Asuka was challenging for both titles, like it's similar to this, but I was thinking when Becky defended both titles at Money in the Bank 2019, of how she lost a title and won a title back to back. So I'm thinking like Bailey's going to retain. You know, like because with RJ just saying like she said she'll go first. I'm thinking Bailey's going to retain, and you know they're going to do a post-match beatdown, you know, usual heel stuff, and then I think Asuka's going to win the Raw Women's Championship. I don't want to think by roll-up, but it might possibly be roll-up, because I'm also like, not only does that give Asuka back the title and moves it to like, so like a SmackDown person doesn't have the title, but it also furthers like a feud with Bailey and Sasha, because we could have Bailey being like, "Oh, I successfully defended my title, and you got pinned quickly," you know. So I'm thinking like if they're gonna continue setting up a feud for Bailey and Sasha, they need to set it. They need to continue it where Bailey just gloats. Like they could add that to the feud where she just gloats that she's so much better than Sasha.
Could we see the turn here, you think? Like, could we see Bailey win and then cost Sasha her title in the next match?
No. I mean, like I'm gonna state the obvious. I'm gonna say the obvious here. It is a Big Four pay-per-view. They do save that kind of stuff for Big Four pay-per-views. They do. You know, I mean, we've seen it with Becky. We've seen it with people I can't think of right now, but it's happened in the Randy. Thank you. We've seen it in the past, so I can see it, but. I feel like with these two, we've been like duped again and again, and it's like so you know, I don't know, but just to confirm the Raw, so we got everybody except for Keys and I to pick Sasha, or everybody and the coin. So as we move on now to the SmackDown portion of we move on to the SmackDown portion of the match. Bailey versus Asuka for the SmackDown title. To confirm, gentlemen, Kirsch has already said he's picking Bailey. Yes.
Yes.
And RJ, are you confirming that you're picking Bailey as well?
Yeah, Bailey.
All right. So right now, everybody's on the board for Bailey, including Wolf and Keith. So of course, on your screen there are your graphics for Bailey for the two. This is where I'm going to say Bailey as well. So what I'm saying is that Asuka doesn't leave. Oh boy, I'm going to stick with it. That Asuka doesn't leave SummerSlam with any titles at all. But I feel like I could be wrong here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to our favorite segment, the coin. Pete?
So we're going with 500 for Bailey. We are going with Asuka. So I am going.
Hey, this could be good for the coin because the rest of us took Bailey.
Jose is a bitch. The coin has decided Jose is completely and utterly trash, and he is wrong with his predictions. And that Asuka is walking out there as a double champion, knee champion. I think that's Japanese champion. I don't actually know, but we are going with that. I think this makes logical sense.
Okay.
Well,
So
I mean, the other two have gotten a chance, so it's Asuka's turn.
Yeah, so the way I now see this playing out is both Bailey and Sasha are now going to cost each other in those two respective matches. They're both going to mess it up. And Asuka is going to take both champions. As I said, SummerSlam is a grandiose moment. This could be Asuka's grandiose moment where she wins both belts. She follows in Becky's footsteps. Let's not forget, Becky single-handedly picked her out as a thing of the person to follow. She's going to be the next Asuka 2 belts. That's how we're playing it out. And then that's going to build up the tension between Bailey and Sasha, but they're both going to get the rematch at... Is it still whatever the week after?
It's
It is. It is. Payback is the week after, yes.
For God's sake. One of them will win the belt back there. Why not? But Asuka's going to get her moment of glory at SummerSlam. It's going to be a big face victory. Sasha and Bailey are going to get handed it to Asuka 2 belts. Let's go. The coin has spoken.
All right. Well, thank you for the power of the coin there, Mr. Atkinson. So right now, the only person that has picked the double champ is Asuka, and there are differences across the board so far. So I mean, I will say, out of all the predictions that we've done, gentlemen, this is clearly the best one in terms of unpredictability and differences. So well done, and thank you, 500 sweet bucks. We're moving on to a match that I personally have been looking forward to for the longest time. It is 15 years in the making for one individual, and that individual is Dominic Mysterio as he takes on Seth Rollins in what has now turned into a street fight announced on social media this past week instead of on a traditional Raw, because who does it anyways? And I'm going to start off again because I have been saying this for weeks. As soon as the match was announced, I said that anybody that picks Seth Rollins, including the coin, is automatically wrong. This is Dominic's WWE pay-per-view. This is it's weird to say that we've seen a kid essentially grow up, because I know here on the podcast we've been talking about the custody ladder match with Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and little Dominic, little blonde hair. He's even appeared like with CM Punk in that rivalry with Mysterio and Punk in the late 2000s. This is his time to shine. He is, I think, right now flying under the radar in terms of like what he can do in the ring, because you can see that he can move around well. The only thing that I've been saying as well is that I think that Dominic should just take acting classes, because he can do a promo if his life depended on it. But if there's one kid that if there's somebody that needs a big win for SummerSlam, somebody that really needs to establish himself in WWE, it's Dominic Mysterio. And of course, he skips the whole NXT upbringing and all that jazz. And I think he has a great teacher in Ray, and I'm sure other superstars have trained Dominic as well. If this isn't Dominic, I'm going to be completely shocked, because this is just, I mean, Rollins is Rollins, but no, this is, I'm stating this again. Anybody that picks Seth, I truly believe is wrong. And if this comes back to haunt me next week on the podcast, it is what it is. And RJ, you're already smiling, which means you may have something different to say. So we're going to start off with you.
No, Seth's winning this match, man. Come on.
Are you actually picking Seth?
Oh, yeah. Seth's winning this match, man. I think that this is going to get a decent amount of time. I think they're going to try hard to see that Dominic can take a beating like he already did. I do think that he's going to get a couple pretty close near falls, but I think that there is absolutely zero chance that Rollins loses this match just because it's Seth Rollins, and I just don't think that they're going to put Dominic over unless Ray and maybe even Buddy Murphy help him out. Like, I just don't see it happening. Like, I just don't see Rollins taking this pin. I think that Dominic's going to get a couple near falls. I think he's going to get his licks in on Seth. I think he's going to get some revenge there. I think they're going to show that he can take a beating, but I just think there's no chance to win this match. I think this is Seth all the way.
All right, so I can laugh at RJ next week. Kirsch?
So like the problem is I just thought of something that because like I remember Dominic saying he wanted to like have his first match as a tag team with his dad, if I remember correctly. This was back when Ray was about ready to take his mask off. If anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
I don't
Good
know
times.
if anyone remembers that one. But,
Yeah.
So, but like, if this was before the announcer of the street fight and the crap Dominic went through, like with the kendo sticks tied into the rope, like I would say Rollins, so that way we could like have a post-match beatdown and then Ray come out and set up a tag team match. But with how Dominic has been doing for the past couple of weeks, I gotta go with Dominic. Honestly, I'm like I might be taking a shot at this one, but I'm thinking like this is like perfect setup for the babyface win. He takes us like a huge beating, and like he takes a huge beating. Then like he gets the win, but then immediately Buddy Murphy comes in to attack, but then Ray comes and saves the day. But like I'm going with Dominic, but I'm also a bit hesitant on this one just in case.
You know, Kirsch, you were doing so well on your podcast debut, and then you had to say that line. But you know, it is what it is. All right, fine.
That's okay.
All right, let's go to the coin. I cannot believe
So we're
we
going
are.
with 500 for Dominic, and we are going with Seth Rollins.
Wow.
We are going with Seth Rollins here. As obviously all stories in WWE go, the face gets absolutely trashed with kendo sticks. And it comes to the actual match, and they, of course, lose. That's how it always goes in WWE. Nothing can tell me otherwise. In actual fact, I might have picked... I would have been on the fence on this one anyway. I might have actually picked Seth Rollins here. Because, like, in WWE, yes, sure, Dominic knew he's a face, all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still Seth Rollins, and WWE likes Seth Rollins, and they want to give him wins, and they want to keep him strong, etc. So I think RJ might have hit the nail on the head here in terms of Dominic is good. This might go 15 minutes or so. Dominic's going to get a good showing, and he might even get his like kind of like John Cena versus Kurt Angle type debut, where he puts up a hell of a fight, scares the living crap out of the trained veteran in the ring, who's like one of the best in the company, but just falls short. And am I actually the only one who felt a little bit blue balls in this match? Because, okay, Dominic's great and all that, but the first time when it kind of led up to it, Seth Rollins came out and started threatening Tom Phillips, and Samoa Joe got up in his face. And I was like, yes, we're getting Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins, yes! Oh, it's Dominic. And I just felt a little bit blue balls by that. I really wanted to see Samoa Joe again back at SummerSlam. And sure, Dominic versus Seth, it's intriguing, it's interesting, it's going to be fun, but I wanted Samoa Joe back, and I was so ready for Samoa Joe back, and then you just teased me, and just when I was ready to explode, you completely and utterly blue balls me, and Beck went with Dominic. So, yeah, screw Dominic, he deserves to lose this match just because he cost me having Samoa Joe back in the ring. It is his fault.
RJ, did you have a point to add on to Pete before we go on?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and if after this match they do go and bring Samoa Joe back into the ring, I don't know if they're actually leaning towards that or if this is kind of just a tease that they're doing. Then Seth should probably win this match, right? Like Seth probably can't lose to Dominic and then go on to Samoa Joe. Like Seth's kind of got to win this match if he's gonna feud with Joe after this. So I mean, it's Seth, boys. Come on.
Don't tease me, RJ. Stop teasing me.
Can we just point out
Stop
that
tickling
like
me.
I just want to point something out here as before we get to the last two matches, that Pete has been telling us this whole time that, like, you know, I probably would have won with this. I probably would have won with it. Like, he has his thoughts. he has his reasonings to himself. Like, he somehow is ready to, he has points for both. but it's
Yeah.
still going to rely on the coin here. I'm
Awesome.
okay. It is what it is. I'm not
I told
judging.
you, I have no respect for my competition at all, and I think I can beat them with luck.
We have treated you with kindness on this podcast, sir. With the most absolute respect. Let's move on. It is the WWE Universal Championship. Of course, this is the anniversary of the Universal Championship as it's made its debut at SummerSlam a few years back at Barclays Center. Hooray for the Universal title. I believe it's now 4 years with that. 4 years, yes, that they came in 2016. So 4 beautiful years with that beautiful strap, whatever color it was. The Fiend, Braun Strowman. It is a feud that's been dated back for a little while now. After the whatever the heck that was at Extreme Rules, the Fiend is back, and of course Alexa Bliss has now suddenly been heavily involved in this. And from what it looks like, especially this past Friday on SmackDown, last week I should say, it looks like we have a double turn. Which again, I still don't know how to feel after a week, knowing that the Fiend is essentially a baby face, while Strowman is fine as a heel. Don't get me wrong. I think Strowman is an excellent heel. I just don't know if the Fiend as a face works, but he has this thing with Alexa, and everybody's thinking that it's Sister Abigail or Sister Alexa. I don't know, but here's where we are now. I'm going to pick the Fiend because, well, I'm iffy on this because Strowman has suddenly turned into a proper heel, a heel that I think suits his role better than a face champion. And he even shaved his head. He even went bald. Like, good on him. He looks
Big Show on us.
He went Big Show on us. He looks deadly. But I just, now that he's done this sudden switch, does he lose the title? And now that puts me on edge. But I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to join Wolf and Keys in picking the Fiend, especially with this whole Alexa thing and where can Alexa go in this? Where do we see her in? So I'm just gonna stick with that because if I continue to think about it, I am going to go insane and doubt myself as if I already haven't in the middle of with some of these predictions. RJ.
Well, if Strowman's going full Big Show, he'll be faced by the end of next week anyway. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I do also agree with that point where if they got this whole new character for Strowman, is he really going to drop the title so fast? So that does make me hesitant, just like you said. But I also think like this is just the time to get the Fiend the title back. He probably should have never lost it to Goldberg in the first place. And then it seems like kind of Braun was just filler up until he finally lost the belt to the Fiend. And I think that this is just kind of the time where they're going to finally put the belt back on Bray. It'll be very interesting to see how this character works as a face, because I've always wanted to see Bray work face. They've teased it in the past. He had the tag match with Roman that so many people point back to when they teased that face turn, and then he got hurt. But with this whole like Firefly Funhouse, like Blue's Clues, like evil Fiend character, it'll be very interesting to see how they kind of make him totally a face. So maybe he stays in that like tweener area. But yeah, this is going to be Bray /Fiend yeah, he wins.
We're saving the coin for last. Kirsch.
So, like, I originally, before Braun turned seemingly turned heel, I was straight Fiend, because it was like, oh, Fiend's definitely got to win this one. But with Strowman turning heel now, I'm a little bit more skeptic. But I will say this is actually, like, if they plan on prolonging this feud, which they shouldn't, but if they plan on it, this is actually a good way to switch it, because we can see more. We can see Strowman build to be a heel with someone he's familiar with, and we can see how Bray works as a face. Like, I'm actually curious to see like how this will work with the roles reversed, if the roles are reversed. Another thing I want to say really quick though, quick tangent. I don't really think the Fiend needs the title, though. That's the problem I have with this, though. Because my thing is just like I see the Fiend as possibly maybe not the next Undertaker, but like the next like dark spirit of the WWE. Like the dark, like the guy who.
I think it's a given at this rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Given the Fiend's position with the company, yeah.
I mean, it's like Taker's last championship with the company was, I think, the same year he had the retirement match with Michaels, which was like 2010, if I remember
2010,
correctly.
I think, was it?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% positive.
WrestleMania
Yeah.
26.
23
and
or
ever since
26?
then, he's
23 or 26? I thought it was
26.
26. Sorry, go on. Sorry, I wasn't hearing properly. Kirsch, continue.
but like he had like the Taker since then never had the title, and he's been like, well, up until he lost the streak. Like after that, that's give or take, because certain years he's been good, certain years he's been bad. But like he had phenomenal stuff without the title. Like I feel like the Fiend is in the same boat. He doesn't need the title to become like to be on top. He could be like he could have like a streak thing. Like I don't know if they could have a SummerSlam, like a WrestleMania streak with Fiend, but like the Fiend can have something, so where he doesn't need the title all the time, you know.
He's got to win then, though, right? Like, sorry, I didn't mean to like jump in. Then I feel like even if he doesn't need the title, he's still kind of got to win those big
Yeah,
matches.
no. That's
Yeah.
definitely true. That's definitely true. I'm just saying it's like I don't know what like I'm just saying like well, it's like if he's gonna lose the title, like I think it should be like Firefly Funhouse Bray, because that way to protect it, so we don't
Yeah.
have another Goldberg situation.
This is very, very similar to what. Well, we've seen it already with that. So what is your pick? Is it Strowman or is it Fiend?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fiend. It's
Fiend.
Fiend.
Oh, okay, we're on the same page.
I was wondering where it was going, but no, I like it. Like I do want to be sure, but yeah. So you are going Fiend.
Yeah, I'm going Fiend on this
Okay.
one.
All right.
Sorry.
Now we go off to the coin brought to you by my e-reader. E-reader. If you don't want to buy books, get an e-reader. Pete.
So we're going with
that a quick
$500
advertisement?
for the Fiend, and it is $500. So we are going with Bray Wyatt the Fiend. So the coin has decided to go with Bray Wyatt the Fiend. I was honestly ready, prepared to somehow defend Strowman in this match. Honestly, this is one of the maybe two things on WWE TV at the moment that I'm absolutely loving. I think since the Swamp match, I've loved the Alexa Bliss involvement. I've been really intrigued by it. It's a bit weird, obviously, but it's meant to be a bit weird. And I've really liked it. I thought Alexa Bliss's promo on SmackDown was fantastic. And yeah, I'm really intrigued. And obviously, they say Braun Strowman has shaved his head now, but I think he's a bit like Samson in terms of he's lost his hair, he's lost all his power now. So he's definitely doomed to fail. That's how it definitely works. And yeah, like I said, the Fiend's last actual proper match was Goldberg. So he hasn't had a match since then, other than the Firefly Funhouse one, which doesn't really count as an in-ring match. So I don't think they're going to give him another loss here. And yeah, and obviously Goldberg's probably going to come back around Rumble and beat him back for the belt again to take it on him on the road to WrestleMania. That's how it'll work. So have that belt from SummerSlam to Rumble, lose it in the Goldberg. Goldberg will go on to Mania, face Roman Reigns, and now we'll have that match again. They're just going to redo it from last year, and it's going to be great, and we're all going to be really pleased by it. And in terms of Fiend, like face Fiend, he was pretty much a face when he debuted, to be honest. Like, yeah, he wasn't officially in WWE standpoint, but in the fans' eyes, everyone was cheering for the Fiend. They were cheering for the Fiend against Balor. They were cheering for the Fiend against Rollins. Most people were cheering for the Fiend against Goldberg. Like, and no real point has anyone ever wanted the Fiend to lose. So in terms of being a heel, he's a heel. He's a terrible heel. Nobody ever wants him to lose. So he can't be any worse as a face than he is as a heel. So if people want him to win, make him a face and make us cheer him. Why not? Or at least, as you said, as a tweener, he'll be fine. And yeah, put him in a relationship with Alexa Bliss, because why not? Let's just go the full way.
I will say before we get to Chris, I will say like as somebody who was there last year, yes, we were cheering for the Fiend, and it is funny, yeah, because he's supposed to be an evil demonic, but today's WWE is like, you know, let's just cheer for who we think is just most compelling. We don't care if they're face or they're heel. In other words, kayfabe is dead. Kirsch.
I also just wanted to like bring this one up too, because I remember like I know like he says this because like it's part of his Firefly Funhouse persona, but like how he says he's going to protect us, like like this could he could finally use that as like a good guy like sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just I think I feel like Pete hit the nail on the head. Maybe a tweener position for this guy, but we'll find out. We'll find out this Sunday.
I think it's Taker-esque, as he said though as well, because Taker, whenever the lights go down, everyone pops, everyone cheers.
Mhm.
Like Taker's never like obviously when he first debuted and stuff, but later on, even when he was meant to be the heel, he was still always
He was still big,
tweener at best.
Yeah.
Even as Biker Taker, he was supposed to be a heel, and he was like, everybody's still cheering.
Well, he did start as a face as a biker heel, and then he worked his way towards, especially with Big Evil. Then he turned his towards us. So, all right, let's get to the final match of the pay per view. Another. I think this is the other storyline people was talking about that Pete was talking about. That's had a very interesting build up as well. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Of course, Wolf and Drew have already been the difference there, with Wolf going with Randy, Keys going with Drew. And so here we are now with, again, another compelling storyline. And again, this is where I want to bring up that I guess SummerSlam is going out to a new arena. Is going to the Orlando's Amway Center, where the NBA's Orlando Magic play. That's going to be their permanent home for a while, with apparently pyrotechnics, lights, virtual fans. Which means, is this where they mix it up for Drew and just kind of give this new arena, this new home, a little shakeup? Personally, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to stick with Drew McIntyre. But it's food for thought as WWE heads to a now quote unquote state of the art better visual, but that's not why I'm here. I'm picking Drew because, I mean, first of all, Randy has been an excellent heel yet again, with the incident with Ric Flair punting Shawn Michaels, my boy toy. There's like so many, like Randy's just been unbelievably despicable, great promos, and Drew continues to be this big, sexy badass. And I think, I know I was bringing up the state of the art point earlier, but now that Drew has a crowd to work with, and of course, I mean by virtual fans, and I hope that RJ is one of the people that register for Thunderdome and be there front and center with that beautiful face of his. I think Drew can also soak it in, finally soak it in. I know it's not the soak in that he wanted. God, that sounds so wrong. I know it's not like the environment that he would have preferred with fans. That's what I should have said. But I hope he gets to finally embrace this role as a champion with the virtual fans in the arena. Kirsch, let's start with you.
So I may end up having to flip a coin if I don't talk myself through this.
Do you want to use a poker chip then?
Not yet. I'm gonna try to talk myself through this. Like, I'm gonna say what my thoughts on the build up to this, and hopefully make a decision by the end of it, because this one is kind of tough for me. So it's like Randy has been honestly on one of the best runs I've seen in a while. Like I'm surprised of how great he has been recently. When I actually started watching wrestling back in 2017, and Randy, he was all right back when I first watched SummerSlam 2017. I wasn't I liked him then, but it wasn't just that interesting. 2018, Randy just was that the year he put his ear through Jeff Hardy's ear, his finger through Jeff Hardy's
ear through Jeff Hardy's ear.
That's new.
Serious kinky shit.
I believe it was a
screwdriver.
Finger and then the
screwdriver.
Finger.
That was Hell in Cell, yeah. 2018.
Yeah.
No, it was
So I thought he was doing great then, but then they just basically just he didn't continue that viciousness. His feud with AJ was good, but it's just I wanted a vicious Randy, one we had back in when he won the Rumble for the first time, when he was just punting everyone, and how he just punted Stephanie was just a evil bastard. But we finally got it now. It's just man, he's good. And he's done some of the best stuff in a while. But for Drew, I feel this could be Drew's moment finally, because like Jose said, like he never had that pop he should have had at Mania. I mean, I know like virtual fans aren't the same as like real fans, like real fans like cheering for you, but this could be like his moment finally. And Drew's had one hell of a run as a champion. Like he's held off the title against quite a few people, and like I don't think it's ready yet for Drew to drop the title yet. That's the thing. So okay, I've talked myself into it. I'm going with Drew.
There it is. I think you just told yourself what the pick was.
Yeah, exactly. I just had to like, it's just like, if he's gonna drop the title, so Randy and Edge, because like if that's still a thing, if Randy and Edge are gonna have that title match, I think he's gonna drop it at Rumble.
Yeah, that would make, again, assuming that could happen. Yeah,
I think it's too soon for Drew to drop the title though. That's the thing. Like he got it at SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and everyone wanted that. Like people went crazy when he won and took out Brock.
Yeah.
And it's just too soon to like end it right then and there. So I'm thinking he's going to hold it on just for a little bit longer. Maybe lose it at Survivor Series.
that's also another one to look forward to. So we do got to move on. RJ, let's go with you.
So I also think that it's a little soon for Drew to lose his title. However, that's why I kind of didn't want Orton to be his opponent at SummerSlam, because I think there's no way Orton isn't winning this match.
So you're going with Randy.
I'm going with Randy because I think he's just on too big of a role. I think that they're just kind of pushing him right now. And I just don't think that he's in a spot where he can really lose right now either. So that's why this match was kind of something I was like, it's the natural like big match for SummerSlam, but I kind of didn't really necessarily want it because I didn't really want to see Drew lose the title yet. I'm going to go with Randy. I think that how many titles is he at now? Is it 14?
This would be number 14 if he does.
Yeah, this would be number 14. So okay, so they did kind of do that foreshadowing of like, that's my title record, not John Cena's title record. I want you to be the one to break it. I do think that if John Cena doesn't come back in a long time, they could push a couple more titles onto Randy Orton to get it closer to Ric Flair. So I do think that this is going to be when they put the title on Randy in the WWE Thunderdome.
I just well, before we get to the coin, I think the one thing that a lot we haven't said it, and I should have said at the start, SummerSlam is where Randy's biggest moments have happened.
Mm-hmm. Title against Redacted.
Yeah, first title against we're gonna say it. First title against Chris Benoit, the World Heavyweight Championship in Toronto in 2004. Then the cash-in incident, the cash-in moment in 2013. So I mean, Randy is not a stranger to big moments at SummerSlam.
Did Randy beat Cena at SummerSlam as well, or did he lose that one?
Sorry?
SummerSlam 2000 and is it 2010 or 2000? The one where it was Cena versus Randy in the main event.
Oh, geez. I know what you're saying. I just it's
2007. It was 2007.
Around there, yeah. It's
slipping
my mind.
Did he win that one, or did he lose that one? I'm just trying to think of everything.
I can't remember. Kirsch, you had a quick point.
Didn't he also beat Taker at SummerSlam once? I swear he did.
He did in 05, yeah, in 05 as well, yeah. That was just after the WrestleMania match, and then they went on to go do even crazier things in that feud. So yes, thank you, Kirsch. Orton is not a stranger to big SummerSlam moments, and now brought to you by this Visine that I have in my dresser, my drawer, where you can relieve your eyes of any pain of red eye, dry eyes, whatever you name it. This is sponsoring the coin, the magical $500 coin that has taken over this show unnecessarily. So, Pete, would you like to do the honors for the final flip?
Yeah.
How are you going to flip it for the tiebreaker?
I was about to say, this is no, I've got another plan for that. I'll get that. This is a big head versus heart for me anyway. So my head says Orton is winning this. My heart is obviously with Drew McIntyre. But let's find out at the coin spoke. We're going to go with 500 for Drew, poker for Randy. It is Big Daddy Drew. He's just a sexy Drew, after all. He's going to claim all you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think Kirsch touched on it as well. The best Randy Orton is Legend Killer Randy Orton. like when I think of my favorite Randy Orton, I do think of that when he RKO'd Stephanie and then basically kissed her lifeless body in front of Triple H turnbuckle. That was peak Randy Orton.
It was.
That was him at his best, punting Vince McMahon. This guy is on an absolute roll at the moment, but he doesn't need that belt. And I'm going to get into why he doesn't need that belt now. So, Randy Orton definitely doesn't need the belt. He's done all his things. He's done all of that. But he's focused on Legends at the moment. And Legends should not be fighting for all that title. So he should continue down his way. He might get a match, the teased match with Christian, the teased other things. He can obviously go into other little matches, Legends. He can continue down his merry way for now. And then we're going to get a redraft brand. And Randy Orton is going to change shows. And Randy Orton is going to go and win the WWE title instead. Because if The Fiend beats Braun Strowman, The Fiend has been going after people who historically have wronged him. And
Do you
he
mean do you mean the Universal title?
Universal title, yes.
Thank you.
The Fiend has gone after people who have historically wronged him. He's gone after John Cena. He's gone after Daniel Bryan. The one person who has historically wronged him that he still has not taken on is Randy Orton. And that is who he still needs to take on. And that's going to be the big feud going forward once they switch brand, and he could go with that belt instead and leave my daddy Drew alone. Let him keep that belt. He deserves that belt. Nobody should take that belt from him. He is the best. He is undoubtedly the best performer in WWE. He is undoubtedly the best superstar in the history of WWE, and he is the greatest champion ever. Get him keep that belt. Big Daddy Drew is not losing that belt. He is a sexy Drew. He's going to claim all you. Sexy Drew winning that belt and keeping that belt. But honestly, it just depends if it goes on last. If it goes on last, I think Drew's going to
It's got to go on last.
It's going on last.
If
It has to.
Strowman goes on last, he's losing that belt.
All right, so if it's not the coin, it's the scheduling on the card. Well, gentlemen, looking down this list, we are very, very differential. There's not a single matchup where we're tied, where three people have picked one person, three people have picked another. We are unanimous in two matches, which is the hair versus hair and the Universal title. But everything else is fair game. We, for the most part, have gone 4-2 or 5-1. But this is very exciting. And of course, if necessary, of course, your first impression when you look at this is no, we don't need to have this. But of course, just in case, it is the tiebreaker. It's always possible. It is the tiebreaker, the person closest to the time. Doesn't matter if you go over and under, just whoever's closest in terms of seconds. As a reminder, before the four of us make our picks, Wolf has gone 24 minutes and 30 seconds. Keys has gone 18 minutes and 30 seconds. So, as the host of this podcast, I'm gonna go last. Very quickly, just announce a time. Kirsch, your time for the WWE Championship match.
I'm gonna go 20 minutes and 30 seconds.
20-30. Wow, we're all sticking with 30. I'm gonna go with Pete again because I don't know what the hell he has in mind. RJ?
I'm going to go, I think that this one's going to go decently long. I'm going to go with an over sort of one and go 24-39.
You are 9 seconds over Wolf.
Yeah,
which is going to be.
He beat me in the last tiebreaker, and I didn't think it was possible to even tie against him that time. So these come back to get you. I'm going within 9 seconds on Wolf. I'm taking the overs. I didn't even mean to do that, Wolf. I apologize, but I'm sticking with it.
I highly doubt you're taking the overs. I'm going to be honest.
I just want
1 hour and 6 minutes.
Potentially, there's a potential chance that's going to happen.
I just want to point out that last week on the podcast, during our Summer Hits episode, Wolf was saying that I was the one that was trying to cause a rift between RJ and Wolf, and then RJ says what he said about Wolf and this tiebreaker. So really, am I the one that's causing a rift? I don't think so. So
What did I even say? You're doing it again now.
I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna make my pick because if you're not watching on YouTube, if you're listening to this wherever you get your podcast, Pete is shuffling a deck of cards. He is shuffling a deck of cards.
1 in 52. I love it. Brilliant.
So
Not quite. I've got a better part.
So I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna say 24-25. Sorry. Not 24. 22. 22, 25. I'm going with 22, 25. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick 22, 25. Okay. Pete, what are you doing?
So we are going to see how lucky I am right now. So I've got a slightly smaller deck of cards because I've taken out all of the picture cards. And I'm going to pull 4 cards off the top of this deck here. And I'm going to go with whatever time that is going to be. So we have got a shuffled deck of cards. And
Is
we
it
are
Jack
going
like
with-
a 10?
No, Jack, Queens, and Kings are out. They've gone.
So let me get this straight.
You could get 99, 90.
That was my point. You're telling me. So I don't know how you're gonna do this, but if you're gonna do like the first number is the first minute.
If it's a 7, 8, or 9, I'm just going to go with 3 numbers. So it'd be 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Otherwise, I could get, I guess, 65, 69, 59 would be the highest I'm possibly going to get.
That's what I'm saying. Like you.
But that's the overs though.
Oh.
That takes like all the 45 plus.
Exactly.
But he can draw
No,
like an hour and a half match.
That's it. Let's find out. So I'm going to take them off one at a time. This is completely shuffled. We're going to go and hope I'm lucky. I'm praying for an ace 2 or 3 here. That's all I care about. I'm praying for an ace 2 or 3.
How many cards are you drawing? 3 or 4?
If it's 7, 8, or 9, I'm drawing 3. If it's anything less, I'm drawing 4.
Okay. All right, here we go with the first card.
We are going with. Yes! We have got a 2.
That's a good number.
So we're going with 20. 7. 50. 1. We're going
That's
27.
actually pretty good.
I'm happy with that. That's about
Yeah,
as well as I think
I'm
that-
actually really unhappy with that.
Just to
Like,
show you, there's all the Jacks, Queens, and Kings I took out earlier.
I'm really unhappy with that pull for you because you just took away like all the overs from me.
You got everybody.
You couldn't have pulled like a
literally-
4.
That's only literally if you tie with a coin. And if you think a coin is going to get to the tiebreaker stage of this and potentially win on a tiebreaker, you are expecting the coin to get the joint most predictions correct.
The coin.
And if you are that
decently.
confident in the
It was better than
coin's
Jose.
Yeah. If you're that confident in the coin's predictions, I'm a bit worried. So
So just
We'll
to
see.
confirm,
I'm just
Just
jealous that
confirm.
you have the jersey, Jose. That's it. That's all.
it is a great jersey. Very, very beautiful jersey. Just to confirm,
just
let's
to
run this
show
down
you,
one more
there
time.
was 9s in there. There was like whatever you want.
Oh,
It was
we got you. We believe you. We believe you. We are just. This is just hilarious. So just to confirm the times, I went with 22:25. Wolf went with 24:30. RJ went with 24:39. Kirsch went with 20:30. Keys went with 18:30. So Keys has all the unders right now.
Yeah.
And Pete, after the draw of cards, has won with 27:51. Well, gentlemen, that is that. And of course, if any matches are added on after this recording, because we are recording this earlier in the week before it's released, they will be added on to the graphic. No kickoff matches will be included in the graphic. So just, of course, that's just a disclaimer. Unless it is significantly unanimous, which again, for the most part, may not happen. If it's added on, then yes, it will be thrown on.
Jose, I hate to break the news here. I just had a conversation with a coin. He says he's only contracted to work one night this week. So if there's other nights matches added later, he's not sure whether he really is being paid enough to make
That is not of my concern. So again, that's all to be added on. And of course, for those that are going to be participating in this contest that we have, of course, nearly everybody here is a patron as well. They're Kirsch, Pete, Wolf, Keys, they can all be included. RJ as well. So if any matches added on, I'll explain in the closing, but of course they will be added on to the graphic near the end. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. I know this is a little long, but it is a big 4. It is the biggest party of the summer. Thank you guys, and let's get to the closing. You made it to the end of the episode. Big 4 pay-per-views are long, and there was supposed to be 6 people. So imagine how that would have went, which would have been welcomed, by the way. Of course, we all would have loved it. One more time, let's run through that predictions graphic, and there is a lot. So here we go. Everybody picked Mandy across the board. RJ and myself picked the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championship, as everybody else went Angel and Andrade. For the U.S. title, Wolf and Keys picked MVP. Everybody else picked Apollo. For the Raw Women's Championship, and this is where it gets interesting, myself and Keys picked Sasha Banks. Everybody else picked Asuka. For the SmackDown Women's, everybody except Pete picked Bayley, which means that Pete is hoping that Asuka becomes Asuka 2 belts. Good luck, buddy. For the street fight, RJ and Pete went with Seth Rollins as everybody else picked Dominic. For the Universal Championship, we all went Fiend. For the WWE Championship, Wolf and RJ picked Randy Orton as everybody else picked Drew McIntyre. And the tiebreaker for the WWE Championship match, I went with 22 minutes and 25 seconds. Wolf, 24:30. RJ, 24:39. Pete, thanks to a deck of cards, 27:51. Kirsch, 20 minutes and 30 seconds. And Michael Keys went with 18:30. And yes, that was a lot to process. Of course, next week is the Fallout show, as everybody knows. And, of course, more importantly, which I should have said before before next week's, any extra matches that are added on, like I said at the end of the discussion, will be predicted after the fact. We'll predict after the fact. Non-kickoff shows will not be included, as is always the case here in the prediction show. So any updates, we will be updating you all on our social media platforms. And more importantly, the one thing that I've been waiting for and one thing I was mostly excited about is the predictions contest. The $30 Amazon gift card is on the line for you guys to predict with us all at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, right after SmackDown finishes airing, of course, because this is released on Friday afternoon, is when that chart will be released to all patrons, all levels, so you have a chance to win a gift card and predict with us, because we wish most of you could be here. So we're going to allow you guys to predict with us. So look out for that. Get ready for it. And, of course, any matches that are added on will be added on to the graphic, of course. And after all that, I think I wrapped everything up. Of course, like I said, hopefully you guys will tune in next week for the Fallout, as, again, we are very excited for SummerSlam. And in saying that is that. Thank you so much for watching. Become a patron. Get into that contest that starts tonight, due tomorrow. Facebook, Twitter, you know where to follow us. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. I am Jose Tabata. Enjoy WWE SummerSlam. See ya.